Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears are setting up the perfect NFL draft strategy. And before we dive into exactly what that is, I wanted to give a massive shout out to not only Ben Johnson, but this front office for what they have done in free agency. I mean, let's just take a look at it really quickly. Now, the one area that this team desperately needed to improve in right off the bat coming into the offseason was clearly the offensive line. They ranked 26th in the NFL with yards per carry, but also 20th in rushing touchdowns per game, 24th in rush yards per game. The run offense was absolutely abysmal last season, and they needed to clean that up. But more importantly, they ranked 32nd, the worst in the NFL when it came to QB sack percentage. 10.7% of the time, Caleb Williams was getting sacked. Now, Joe Thuney steps in right away and is a massive addition for this offensive line with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. This guy's going to change everything. I mean, last season, the dude was overall the 12th best guard in football when he stayed at guard. The Chiefs forced him to left tackle for the playoffs and did not bowl over well, right? But also, more importantly, guys, he ranked as the 5th best pass blocking guard in football last season. Okay, we just talked about it. 32 in sack percentage is not okay. This right here is not only an upgrade, it's a game-changing addition to this offensive line. He also ranked 23rd when it came to run blocking grade as well. Overall, Joe Thuney is one of the biggest upgrades of this year's offseason for any football team. But Ben Johnson and the Bears didn't stop there. They also added Drew Dalman, one of the best centers in football last season, and according to PFF, he was 4th among 64 centers that played in football last season. Now, what's crazy about Drew Dalman is his run blocking. This dude is an absolute unit when it comes to opening up holes for running backs. He ranked as the 5th best run blocking center in football last season. Now, his pass blocking wasn't as consistent, but still ranked about 21st in the NFL when it came to his pass blocking grade, which is still actually pretty damn good. So now you look at right away, you add Joe Thuney, one of the best pass blocking guards in football. You add a center who's one of the best run blocking, hole opening centers in football, and they've already drastically improved this football team. Now, let's talk a little bit about Jonah Jackson. Now, a lot of people don't see this as a clear upgrade to their offensive line, but the one thing I really do like about Jonah Jackson is the overall versatility that he brings. Now, last season, he didn't have the best year, and I don't think anybody would if they go from left guard to center, back to left guard to right guard, back to center. If you don't have that position consistency, yeah, it's going to be really tough to perform well at 3 different positions in a span of 3-4 different weeks, right? So Jonah Jackson adds one versatility. He can play left guard, center, right guard, and obviously you want to keep him at one position, but he has the flexibility where, yeah, he can play other ones if you really, really need him to be, or need him to. And he also has familiarity with Ben Johnson. He's been with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson knows who he is, knows how he plays, knows how he comes to work every single day. This is a guy who's one of, a higher end offensive lineman in terms of pay, but was willing to play scout team some weeks during practice. I've heard nothing but great stories about Jonah Jackson, so I know he might not be one of the best in the world right now, but this is an upgrade, at least in my opinion. And then they go out and also add a really good pass rusher here in Dayo Odeyingbo, who I am obsessed with, by the way, in terms of what he does as a player. The dude can play as a 5 technique, he can play as a 3 technique, he can play as a 4-eye, which is what he's in right now, right inside that tackle. So as a 4-eye, look at what he's able to do, right? Look at this play here. Versus this left guard, gets right to the outside shoulder, swim moves right past him, throws that lower arm down, boom, gets right by and gets a sack on CJ Stroud. Now, you can never have too many pass rushers, right? And what I think about all the time is, look at what the Eagles just did, okay? They gave you a blueprint, said, hey, if you go by this right here, you will win a Super Bowl, or at least have a good shot to, right? You can never have too many pass rushers. They had, Jalix Hunt, they had Jalen Carter, they had Josh Sweat, they had Nolan Smith. I mean, the list goes, Bryce Huff, the list goes on and on and on. Now the Bears position themselves to have Montez Sweat, Dayo Odangabo, Austin Booker, right? You have guys that they really, really like. And I believe Dayo Odangabo is a guy that can play in multiple different positions and multiple different spots on the football field. Like now he's a 5 technique outside of the tackle. You saw him in the 4-eye. You could see him line up as a 3 tech. Look at him in the run game. The dude does everything well, rips the ball out of the running back's hands, and goes in the other direction. This is a big pickup for the defense. Now, they also picked up Grady Jarrett as well, who I'm very, very high on. This dude's got the work ethic of, I don't even know what, a monster. I don't understand. This dude just has everything you'd want in a pass rusher. Someone who can, again, play 3 tech. He can play 2 technique. He can play all around the inside of this defensive line. And I think he's going to be another huge addition. Now, real quickly, before we dive into this dream scenario for the NFL draft, do me a big favor. Comment down below a letter grade. I'm going to give them an A+. Let's just be real. I'm giving them an A+. I love what they've done. So let me know what you guys think. Also, comment down below P2 if you guys want more of these Bears breakdowns. We still have a lot more to break down. So if you want more, let me know in the comments. Also, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Look what he does to one of the best offensive lines in football. I mean, goes right past that center. But again, join the family free. Doesn't cost anything. And we got you guys covered with Bears content all year long. Let's dive back into the dream NFL draft setup. Now, let's just be honest. If they were able to get and land Ashton Jeanty in the first round, this would be one of the best draft picks, maybe even ever. Now, I only say that because you saw what Ben Johnson was able to do with 2 running backs last year in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now you kind of have that same type of looking offense where you rebuilt the offensive line, right? Braxton Jones, Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright. You also still have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. You pick up Olamide Zaccheaus, which is huge. Devin Duvernay, right? A Swiss Army knife type of player for Ben Johnson. But then you add to the running back room. And I know a lot of people like Roschon Johnson, but Ashton Jeanty, alongside DeAndre Swift, might be the biggest cheat code in the NFL. Now, the good news about the Bears situation is they don't have to land Ashton Jeanty. They really don't. I mean, if we're being honest, I still like Roschon Johnson and DeAndre Swift, but there's a lot of different areas that they can go. And if they wanted to draft more offensive line depth at 10, they could. If they wanted to add to their edge depth, they really could, right? If you wanted to draft a guy, for example, let's just say that at number 10, someone like Will Campbell falls to them, right? That could happen. James Pierce, he'll be there at 10 if you want him. But there's a lot of guys. Mike Green, you could even draft Mike Green at number 10. Again, there's a ton of opportunity for them in this draft to really get better. Mikael Williams from Georgia. Jamar Stewart. Again, it's very early for some of those guys. They could trade back. They could add more picks. They can do a lot of different things, and I think they're set up to be in a really good spot right now. So let me know in the comments what you think that they should do. I feel like number 10 is a really dream scenario because, yeah, they could lose out on some really high-end talent, but again, at the same time, there's going to be guys there that are really, really good at football, and they're going to get the pick. So let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.